The large circular chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. Hundreds of aliens from 12 different species sat in rising tiers around a central speaking platform. Some had tentacles, others had multiple eyes, and a few glowed with inner light. They were the most powerful beings in the known galaxy. High Counselor Vex stood at the center. His blue skin reflected the bright lights from above, and his forearms gestured as he called the emergency meeting to order. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we gather today to address a growing concern that threatens our peaceful union, Vex said. His voice carried through the chamber, automatically translated for each species present. Ambassador Zalthep of the Arvanian Empire rose from his seat. The tall, thin alien moved to the speaking platform with slow, deliberate steps. His skin was pale gray and his eyes were completely black. When he spoke, his voice was cold and measured. Honorable members of the council, I bring disturbing news, Zalthep said. For the past 50 years, we have observed a species from a small blue planet in the outer rim. They call themselves humans. When we first discovered them, they had just learned to split the atom and were taking their first steps into space. Zalthep touched a control panel, and a holographic image of Earth appeared above the platform. It rotated slowly, showing continents and oceans. At first, they seemed harmless, primitive, but their advancement has been troubling. He touched another button, and the image changed to show human technology evolving at a rapid pace. In just 2 centuries, they went from horse-drawn carriages to spacecraft that have left their solar system. This rate of development is unprecedented. A murmur spread through the chamber. Fast technological growth was unusual in the galaxy. Most species took thousands of years to develop space travel. But that is not all, Zalthep continued. Humans are highly aggressive. They have fought countless wars among themselves. Their entertainment glorifies violence. Their history is written in blood. The hologram changed again, showing scenes of human conflicts and weapons. And now, they have begun to establish colonies beyond their home planet, Mars Europa Titan. They are spreading and their technology continues to advance. At their current rate, they will discover faster than light travel within 20 years. Ambassador Klee of the Tellurian Alliance stood up. Unlike the tall Arvanians, Tellurians were short with golden skin and large, gentle eyes. Ambassador Zalthep, while this information is concerning, I must point out that humans have also shown great capacity for cooperation, art, and compassion. Their medical advances serve only to increase their population, which further drives their expansion, Zalthep interrupted. The pattern is clear. If unchecked, humanity will become a dominant force in this sector within a century. Their aggressive nature combined with their rapid technological growth makes them a clear threat to galactic peace. High Counselor Vex raised his upper arms for silence. What do you propose, Ambassador Zalthep? I propose we classify humanity as a Class 3 galactic threat and implement containment procedures immediately. For the safety of all civilized species. The chamber erupted in voices. A Class 3 threat designation was serious. It had only been used twice in the Council's 10,000-year history. Unknown to the Council members, a small figure watched from a hidden observation port high above the chamber floor. Maya Chen, a junior human diplomat assigned to learn about galactic politics, pressed closer to the viewing glass. Her heart raced as she realized what was happening. This is madness, she whispered to herself. They're talking about containing Earth without even talking to us first. Maya was the only human allowed anywhere near the galactic hub, and even she was supposed to be restricted to the diplomatic training sections. She had only found this observation port by accident while exploring the massive station. Below, the debate continued. Ambassador Klee argued for a diplomatic approach. We should establish official contact with humans, Klee said. Invite them to join the galactic community. Guide their development. Containment should be our last option, not our first. Zalthep's black eyes narrowed. By the time we finished diplomatic pleasantries, they could have advanced enough to resist any containment measures. We must act now. High Counselor Vex called for a vote. Those in favor of classifying humanity as a Class 3 galactic threat and implementing containment procedures, raise your signifiers. Maya watched in horror as light panels lit up across the chamber. One by one, representatives from 9 species voted in favor. Only the Tellurians and 2 other species voted against. The motion passes, Vex announced. Humanity is now classified as a Class 3 galactic threat. We will proceed with Containment Protocol Alpha 7. What's Protocol Alpha 7? Maya whispered to herself, frantically taking notes on her small datapad. As if answering her question, Zalthep explained to the Council. Protocol Alpha 7 will create an energy barrier around Earth's solar system, preventing any spacecraft from leaving. Their communications will be blocked. They will be completely isolated until they either destroy themselves or evolve beyond their aggressive tendencies. Maya's hands trembled. The entire human race was about to be imprisoned, and no one on Earth knew it was coming. How soon can the containment field be established? Vex asked. The enforcement fleet can deploy within 3 galactic days, Zalthep replied. The barrier will be operational within 1 Earth week. Maya backed away from the observation port. She needed to warn Earth, but how? No unauthorized communications were allowed from the galactic hub. She would need to find a way off the station first. As she turned to leave, she bumped into someone, or something. Looking up, she found herself face to face with a Krivlox traitor. The alien had leathery skin, 4 eyes, and a mouthful of small, sharp teeth. His name was Kren, and Maya had met him briefly during her orientation. Human Maya, Kren said in a rasping voice. You should not be in this section. Kren, I need your help, Maya said urgently. The Council just voted to imprison Earth. They're sending a fleet. I have to warn my people. Kren's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. This is not good news. Can you help me? I need to get off this station. I'll pay anything. Kren seemed to consider this. His species valued profit above all else, but they also hated the Council's regulations on free trade. My ship leaves in 6 hours, he said finally. Cargo Bay 12, be there, bring no bags. I will hide you among my goods. Thank you, Maya said, relief flooding through her. I won't forget this. As Kren walked away, Maya took one last look through the observation port. Below, the Council was already discussing the technical details of Earth's containment. They spoke about billions of human lives as if discussing a minor administrative matter. They've declared us dangerous, she whispered, but they have no idea what humans are capable of when backed into a corner. Maya slipped away, her mind already planning how to get to Cargo Bay 12 without being detected. She had 6 hours to disappear from the galactic hub, and the fate of humanity depended on her success. Maya Chen crouched inside a small metal container aboard Kren's cargo ship. The space was tight and smelled of alien spices, but it was her only chance to escape the galactic hub. She checked her datapad again, reviewing the notes she had taken during the Council meeting. Earth had less than a week before the containment field would trap everyone in the solar system. Stay quiet, Kren had told her before sealing the container. Hub security is doing extra checks today. Maya heard voices outside, the deep rumbling speech of the Jacksid security officers. Her heart pounded as footsteps approached her container. What's in this one? A security officer asked. Glyn Spice, Kren replied. Very valuable on Centauri Prime. Would you like to see my import permits? There was a pause and Maya held her breath. No need, the officer finally said. You're clear for departure, traitor. 2 hours later, when they were safely away from the hub, Kren opened Maya's container. She climbed out, her legs stiff from being cramped for so long. Thank you, she said, stretching her sore muscles. You took a big risk. Kren's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. The Council takes too much power. Bad for business. He pointed to a small sleeping area. Rest there. 3 days to reach wormhole that can take us to your system. Maya nodded gratefully but knew she couldn't wait. I need to send a message to Earth right away. Do you have a communication system I can use? Council monitors all standard channels, Kren warned. But I have special equipment. Not entirely legal. He led her to a hidden compartment in the ship's wall. Inside was a communication device unlike any Maya had seen before. Quantum entanglement, Kren explained. No signal to intercept, but range is limited. Need to get closer to your system. Maya nodded. How close? 1 more day. Then you can warn your people. Meanwhile on Earth, Admiral Helena Harrington stood in the United Earth Government's defense headquarters. A large screen showed dozens of unknown objects moving toward the solar system. What are we looking at, Dr. Morrison? Harrington asked. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and eyes that had seen many battles. Dr. Morrison, the head of Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Program, pointed to the screen. They appeared at the edge of our sensor range 6 hours ago. Moving fast. Definitely not natural objects. First contact? Harrington asked, raising an eyebrow. Possibly, but their formation suggests a military fleet. Harrington's expression hardened. She'd spent 30 years building Earth's defense force, always believing that humanity would eventually meet other intelligent life. She had hoped for peaceful contact but had prepared for the alternative. Alert all colonies, bring defense platforms online, and get me the Secretary General. Within hours, Earth was buzzing with activity. The United Earth government called an emergency session. Military vessels moved into defensive positions. On Mars colony, civilians watched the news with a mixture of excitement and fear. This is not a drill, the emergency broadcast stated. Unknown spacecraft are approaching our solar system. All citizens should continue normal activities but stay alert for further announcements. Aboard Kren's ship, Maya paced anxiously as they approached the edge of Earth's solar system. They were still too far for the quantum communicator to work, and Kren was pushing his engines to their limit. Ship not designed for this speed, he complained as warning lights flashed on his control panel. Overheating. We need to hurry, Maya insisted. Look. She pointed to Kren's sensor display, which showed multiple large ships moving ahead of them. That's the enforcement fleet. They're already here. Kren hissed something in his native language. Too late to catch them, but we can still warn your people. He adjusted their course, steering away from the main fleet. We go round, approach from different angle. The Galactic Enforcement Fleet, meanwhile, had reached the outer edge of Earth's solar system. Their massive ships, each the size of a small moon, moved into position around the solar system like a net closing around fish. On Earth, Admiral Harrington watched with growing concern as more alien ships appeared on their sensors. They're surrounding us, Dr. Morrison said, his voice tight. Creating some kind of perimeter. Any response to our hails? Harrington asked. None. They're ignoring all our attempts to communicate. The Secretary General, an elderly man named Chen Wei, joined them in the command center. What are our options, Admiral? We have 23 warships ready for immediate action, Harrington replied. Defense platforms around Earth, Mars, and Europa are at full capacity. But we have no idea what kind of technology we're facing. Secretary Chen nodded grimly. Let's hope they're here to talk, not fight. At that moment, the largest alien ship broadcast a message. It appeared on all communication channels across Earth and its colonies. The face that appeared on screens everywhere belonged to Ambassador Zalthep. People of Earth, he began, his voice cold and formal. I am Ambassador Zalthep of the Galactic Council. Your species has been deemed a threat to galactic peace due to your aggressive nature and rapid technological advancement. Gasps and murmurs filled Earth's command center. Containment field will be established. Around your solar system, Zalthep continued, you will be unable to leave or communicate beyond this field. This measure is for the safety of all civilized species in the galaxy. This is outrageous, Secretary Chen exclaimed. They can't just imprison an entire species. Admiral Harrington's eyes narrowed. They're going to try. On board Kren's ship, Maya finally came within range to use the quantum communicator. Her hands shook as she input Earth's emergency frequency. This is Junior Diplomat Maya Chen calling Earth Defense Command. Priority Alpha. I have critical information about the alien fleet. Please respond. Static filled the channel, then a voice answered. This is Earth Defense Command. Identify yourself and your location. I'm a diplomatic trainee stationed at the Galactic Hub, Maya explained quickly. I witnessed the council meeting where they declared humanity a threat. The ships around our system are creating a containment barrier. Once it's active, nothing can get in or out. There was a pause before the voice responded. We're receiving a similar message from the alien fleet now. Can you provide any additional information about their technology or intentions? The barrier uses quantum field technology, Maya said, reading from her notes. It will block all conventional forms of travel and communication. And once it's established, they plan to leave us trapped until we either destroy ourselves or evolve beyond what they call our aggressive tendencies. Is there any way to stop it? The voice asked. Maya hesitated. I don't know, but I have detailed notes on the Council's discussion. There might be something useful. We need that information. What's your ETA to Earth? Before Maya could answer, Kren shouted a warning. Council ships! They've detected us! Maya looked at the sensor display and saw two smaller alien vessels breaking away from the fleet and heading toward them. We're being pursued, she told Earth Command. I don't think we can make it to Earth, but we might reach Mars colony. Do what you can, the voice instructed. Mars defense will be alerted to expect you. As Kren pushed his ship to its limits, the alien vessels gained on them. Energy weapons fired, narrowly missing their small craft. They're trying to disable us, not destroy us, Kren observed. Want to capture you? Maya gripped her seat as the ship shook from a near miss. Can we outrun them? No, Kren said simply. But Mars is close now. I can get you there. He pointed to a small escape pod. That will take you to surface. Autopilot set for Mars colony main dome. Maya stared at him in shock. What about you? I will lead them away, then disappear. His mouth formed what might have been a smile. I am good at disappearing. Another blast rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Go now, Kren insisted. Your people need your information. Maya grabbed her data pad and moved to the escape pod. I'll make sure the Council knows not all aliens are like them. Some, like you, are friends of humanity. Kren made a dismissive gesture. Not friend. Just good business sense to help potential customers. Maya didn't believe him, but there was no time to argue. She climbed into the pod and Kren sealed it shut. Moments later, it launched toward the red planet ahead. As the pod streaked toward Mars, Maya watched through a small window as Kren's ship turned sharply and accelerated away, drawing the Council vessels with it. She silently wished him luck before turning her attention to Mars, growing larger in her viewport. The pod shook violently as it entered the Martian atmosphere. Emergency thrusters fired automatically, slowing its descent. With a bone-jarring impact, the pod landed just outside the main colony dome. Colony security forces approached cautiously, weapons ready. Maya opened the pod's hatch and stepped out, hands raised. I'm Maya Chen, Earth diplomat, she called out. I have critical information about the alien fleet. Admiral Harrington should be expecting me. A security officer approached. We got the alert. A transport is waiting to take you to command. As they rushed her to the colony's military headquarters, Maya looked up at the sky. She couldn't see the alien ships from here, but she knew they were there, preparing to lock humanity away from the stars. They think they're containing a threat, she murmured. But they've just cornered the most resourceful species in the galaxy. Dr. Elias Wong stared at the holographic display in the Mars Colony Research Lab. The data from Maya Chen's notes floated in the air before him. Complex equations and technical specifications for the Council's containment technology. This is fascinating, he murmured, his eyes wide behind his glasses. Their quantum field generator is similar to our experimental phase shift technology, but far more advanced. Maya stood nearby, watching anxiously. After her crash landing on Mars 2 days ago, she'd been rushed to the colony's command center to share everything she knew about the Galactic Council's plans. Can you make sense of it? She asked. Dr. Wong nodded slowly. I think so. The barrier works by altering the quantum state of space itself, making it impossible for normal matter to pass through. He pointed to a specific section of the data. But there's something here about resonance frequencies. Admiral Harrington entered the lab, her face grim. She had arrived from Earth via the last transport ship before the colonies went into lockdown mode. I need progress, Doctor, she said. The alien fleet has completed their perimeter. They're starting to activate the containment field. Dr. Wong pushed his glasses up his nose. Admiral, I believe I've found something. The barrier technology has a potential weakness. This caught the Admiral's attention. What kind of weakness? It appears the field is sensitive to certain quantum frequencies. If we could generate a matching counter-frequency at specific points around the solar system, we might be able to create temporary gaps in the barrier. How temporary? Harrington asked. Minutes, maybe seconds, Dr. Wong admitted, but potentially enough time for ships to pass through. Harrington nodded. Keep working on it. I want a practical solution as soon as possible. As the Admiral turned to leave, a young lieutenant rushed in. Admiral, the Council's ambassador is broadcasting again. They hurried to the command center where a large screen showed Ambassador Zalthep's gray face. His black eyes seemed to stare directly at them. People of Earth, he began, the containment field is now active. For your own safety and the safety of the galaxy, you are confined to your solar system until further notice. Any attempt to breach the barrier will result in the destruction of your vessels. This is not a punishment but a protective measure. Secretary Chen Wei, who had also evacuated to Mars, stood beside Harrington. His face was a mask of controlled anger. "This is Secretary Chen Wei of the United Earth Government," he responded. "We demand to know under what authority you imprison an entire species without provocation or dialogue." Salthep's expression didn't change. "The Galactic Council has existed for 10,000 years. We maintain peace among all civilized species. Your rapid advancement and history of aggression present a clear danger. This decision was not made lightly. We have a right to defend ourselves," Chen insisted. "To explore. To grow. Your rights end where the safety of others begins," Salthep replied coldly. "The decision is final." The transmission ended abruptly. Harrington turned to her officers. "Status of the field?" A technician checked her readings. "It appears to be fully operational, Admiral. Our probes can't penetrate it, and all long-range communications beyond the solar system are blocked." Maya stepped forward. "So we're truly trapped?" Harrington's eyes hardened. "For now. But Dr. Wong is working on a solution, and I've initiated Operation Prometheus." "Operation Prometheus?" Maya asked. "A contingency plan for first contact scenarios," Harrington explained. "Named after the Titan who gave fire to humanity." She pointed to a map of the solar system. "We're coordinating all our colonies and outposts for a unified response. In the following days, humanity's response took shape across the solar system. On Earth, factories shifted to wartime production, creating new weapons and defenses. On Mars, Dr. Wong led a team of scientists working day and night to understand and counter the alien barrier technology. The Jupiter mining stations, normally competing corporations, pooled their resources to build massive quantum transmitters based on Dr. Wong's specifications. Even the small outposts on Saturn's moons contributed, their skilled technicians designing drone ships that could carry the transmitters to strategic positions. 5 days after the containment field went up, "Dr. Wong made a breakthrough. I've got it," he exclaimed, bursting into Admiral Harrington's office. "The resonance frequency. If we hit the barrier with precisely calibrated quantum pulses at these 7 points simultaneously, we can create temporary ruptures in the field." Harrington studied the data. "How long will the ruptures last?" "Approximately 3 minutes, Dr. Wong said. Not long, but enough time for small, fast ships to get through." "And you're certain this will work?" Dr. Wong hesitated. "In theory. We can't test it without alerting the Council ships." Harrington nodded slowly. "Then we'll have to get it right the first time." She activated her communication link. "This is Admiral Harrington. Initiate Phase 2 of Operation Prometheus. Deployment of quantum disruptors to commence in 6 hours. Across the solar system, humanity prepared for their counterattack. The plan was complex and required perfect timing. The Mars colony would launch a diversionary attack against the galactic fleet, drawing their attention. Meanwhile, 7 small stealthy ships would position the quantum disruptors at the designated points around the solar system. Maya found herself assigned to a critical role. Given her knowledge of the Council and its procedures, she would lead a small team to infiltrate the Council's command ship during the confusion of the attack. "Your mission," Admiral Harrington told her, "is to reach their communication center and broadcast the truth to the wider galaxy. Let them know we were imprisoned without a fair hearing." Maya swallowed hard. "I'm not a soldier, Admiral." "No, you're a diplomat," Harrington replied, "and sometimes words are more powerful than weapons." As the hour of the operation approached, tension built throughout human settlements. This would be humanity's first coordinated action against an alien threat, a defining moment in human history. On the bridge of her flagship, the UES Defiance, Admiral Harrington addressed her officers. "Today we face an enemy that believes they understand humanity. They've studied our history, our conflicts, our struggles, and concluded that we are dangerous. What they failed to grasp is that the same fighting spirit that led us to war also drove us to heal the sick. Explore the unknown and reach for the stars." She pointed to the tactical display showing the alien fleet. "The Council thinks they're containing a threat. We're about to show them they've merely cornered a lion." The attack began precisely as planned. The Mars Defense Force launched a swarm of drone fighters toward the section of the alien fleet nearest the Red Planet. The unmanned craft darted between the massive Council ships, firing energy weapons that caused minimal damage but maximum confusion. The Council ships responded predictably, turning their attention and weapons toward Mars. This created the distraction needed for the 7 stealth ships carrying the quantum disruptors to slip into position. On board the UES Sparrow, a small stealth craft designed for covert operations, Maya checked her equipment one last time. Her team consisted of 4 soldiers and 1 tech specialist. Their target was the largest council ship, where Ambassador Zalthep presumably directed the containment operation. Approaching insertion point, the pilot announced. Prepare for dark drop in 30 seconds. Maya took a deep breath. The dark drop would use minimal thrusters to avoid detection, essentially letting their ship fall silently toward the target. It was risky, but provided the best chance of reaching the council ship undetected. Disruptor teams report ready, came Admiral Harrington's voice over the secure channel. Synchronizing countdown for barrier disruption. All teams execute on my mark. The Sparrow shuddered as it entered the dark drop trajectory. Through the viewport, Maya could see the enormous council ship growing larger. It dwarfed their small craft, a city-sized vessel of sleek alien design. In seconds to contact, the pilot warned. 5 seconds to disruptor activation, came Harrington's voice simultaneously. Maya gripped her harness as the Sparrow accelerated toward the council ship's hull. Mark, Harrington commanded. Across the solar system, the 7 quantum disruptors activated simultaneously. They fired precisely calibrated energy pulses at the containment barrier. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, where each pulse struck, the fabric of space itself appeared to ripple and tear. On the Defiance's bridge, a technician shouted, "Ruptures confirmed. The barrier is breached at all 7 points." Harrington allowed herself a small smile. Phase 3. Launch the human fleet. From hidden positions throughout the solar system, humanity's ships emerged. They were fewer in number than the Council fleet, but designed with human ingenuity. Their movements were unpredictable, not following standard military patterns that the Council's tactical systems would recognize. The Sparrow, meanwhile, docked silently against the hull of Zalthep's command ship. Magnetic clamps engaged, and a cutting tool created an entry point. Maya and her team slipped inside, their specialized suits protecting them from detection. "We're in," Maya whispered into her communicator, moving to the central hub. Using the schematics she'd memorized from her time at the Galactic Hub, Maya led her team through the massive alien vessel. They encountered few crew members. Most were likely focused on the battle outside. In the command center of the Defiance, Admiral Harrington. In the communication center of the Council's command ship, Maya Chen stood before the alien broadcasting equipment. The tech specialist had managed to access the system, and now a small green light indicated they were transmitting. "Attention, species of the galactic community," Maya began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I am Maya Chen of Earth. The Galactic Council has imprisoned humanity without a fair trial or any diplomatic contact. They have declared us dangerous based on incomplete information and hidden agendas. Ambassador Zalthep moved to stop her, but the human soldiers kept their weapons trained on him and the other aliens in the room. We are broadcasting proof of our imprisonment and our response," Maya continued. "Judge for yourselves whether the Council's actions represent justice or fear." She nodded to the tech specialist, who sent the compiled data, images of the containment field, records of the Council meeting where humanity was condemned without representation, and footage of the current battle showing human ships defending their solar system. "We do not seek conflict," Maya concluded. "We seek only the right to determine our own destiny among the stars. To any civilizations watching who believe in fairness and freedom, we ask for your support against this unjust quarantine." The broadcast ended, and Maya turned to face Zalthep. The ambassador's gray face was rigid with anger. "You have no idea what you've done," he said coldly. "The Council will never forgive this defiance." "We're not asking for forgiveness," Maya replied. "We're demanding recognition. Humanity won't be locked away based on your prejudice." Outside the command ship, the battle had transformed. The arrival of Kren and other non-Council traders had confused the Council fleet. Though the trading vessels were not warships, their presence created a political complication. Attacking them would mean potentially harming citizens of species that were represented on the Council. On the bridge of the UES Defiance, Admiral Harrington received an update from Dr. Wong on Mars. "Admiral, the quantum disruptors are performing better than expected," the scientist reported excitedly. "The ruptures in the barrier are actually growing. The containment field appears to be destabilizing across multiple sectors. Harrington allowed herself a small smile. Excellent work, Doctor. Now we push our advantage. She turned to her tactical officer. Order all ships to target the Council fleet's command and control systems. Disable, don't destroy. Throughout the solar system, human ships executed the new orders with precision. Small, fast attack craft darted between the massive Council vessels, targeting communication arrays and sensor systems. Larger human warships engaged the Council's primary weapons platforms, drawing their fire while drone swarms slipped past their defenses. The Council ships, designed for overwhelming force rather than adaptable combat, struggled to respond effectively. Their tactical systems relied on predicting enemy movements based on known military doctrines from across the galaxy. But humans fought differently, changing tactics constantly, using improvisation that the Council's combat AIs couldn't predict. On Mars Colony, Dr. Wong and his team monitored the quantum disruptors with growing excitement. It's working even better than I theorized, Wong told his colleagues. The Council's containment field technology is based on maintaining a perfect quantum harmony. Our disruptors are creating cascading resonance failures. One of his assistants looked up from her console. Dr. Wong, look at this pattern. The field isn't just failing, it's collapsing inward toward the generators on the Council ships. Wong's eyes widened behind his glasses. That means, if they don't shut down their generators soon, the energy could rebound into their ships. He quickly opened a channel to the Defiance. Admiral Harrington, the Council needs to power down their containment generators immediately, or they risk catastrophic feedback. Harrington understood the implications instantly. Send warning to all human ships, prepare for energy surges from Council vessels, and get me a direct channel to Maya on the Council command ship. Inside that command ship, Maya's team had secured the communication center when an urgent message came through from the Defiance. Maya, this is Harrington. The containment field is collapsing. The feedback could destroy the Council ships if they don't shut down their generators immediately. Inform Zalthep, this isn't a trick. Maya turned to the ambassador who had heard the message. Your containment technology is backfiring. Shut it down or you'll lose your entire fleet. Zalthep's black eyes narrowed in suspicion, but one of his technicians called out in their alien language, showing him readings on a display. The ambassador's expression changed to one of alarm. It's true, the technician said in the common galactic language. The field harmonics are destabilizing. Energy is flowing back through the network. Zalthep hesitated only a moment longer before making his decision. Broadcast emergency shutdown to all vessels. Deactivate the containment generators. Throughout the solar system, the Council ships powered down their containment systems. The massive energy field that had surrounded Earth's solar system flickered and then disappeared in a series of spectacular light flashes. On the Defiance, a cheer went up from the crew as sensors confirmed the barrier was gone. We did it, Harrington said quietly, allowing herself a moment of relief before turning back to her officers. Maintain battle positions. This isn't over yet. Indeed, though the containment field was down, the Council fleet remained. They had shifted to a defensive formation, weapons still ready. A new communication signal came in, not from the command ship, but from one of the alien trading vessels. Admiral Harrington. Kren's raspy voice came through. News of Council's actions spreading through galactic networks. Many species angry about imprisonment of humans without trial. 3 Council members already calling for emergency session to reconsider decision. Harrington raised an eyebrow. Our broadcast is having an effect? Big effect, Kren confirmed. Council rules require fair process. What they did to humans breaks their own laws. This changed the strategic situation significantly. Harrington opened a channel to Maya. Chen, we need to push our advantage. The Council is facing internal pressure. Can you negotiate from there? On the Council command ship, Maya received the message and considered their position. She turned to Zalthep, who was still reeling from the technical failure of his containment plan. Ambassador, your containment field has failed. Your fleet is surrounded, and now the galactic community is questioning the Council's actions, Maya said. I suggest we discuss terms. Zalthep's face showed a complex emotion that Maya couldn't quite read. You are in no position to make demands, human. Look outside, Maya suggested, gesturing to the view screen showing the battle. The Council ships were powerful, but they were being outmaneuvered by the smaller, faster human vessels. And now, more alien trading ships were arriving, some belonging to species represented on the Council itself. The longer this continues, the more support we gain, Maya pointed out. The Council's reputation suffers with every minute of this conflict. I'm offering you a diplomatic solution before this escalates further. After a tense silence, Zalthep reluctantly nodded. What terms do you propose? Maya had been considering this since her escape from the Galactic Hub. First, the complete removal of all containment technology from our system. Second, official recognition of humanity's right to explore and expand within reasonable boundaries. Third, a formal hearing before the full council where Earth can present its case. Zalthep's black eyes narrowed. And what do we receive in return? Peace, Maya said simply. We will agree to abide by reasonable galactic regulations, once they are properly explained to us. We will share our technological innovations through appropriate channels, and we will not broadcast the full details of how easily humans overcame your supposedly invincible containment field. This last point clearly struck home. The Council's technological superiority was a key part of its authority. If word spread about how quickly humans had defeated one of their most advanced systems, it could undermine their position throughout the galaxy. I will convey your terms to the Council, Zalthep finally said. While negotiations proceeded on the command ship, human forces throughout the solar system maintained their battle positions. The Council fleet, however, began to show signs of division. Some ships held their aggressive stance while others moved into more neutral positions. On the Defiance, Admiral Harrington received reports from across the system. Admiral, the quantum disruptors are still operational, a technician reported. If the Council tries to reactivate the containment field, we can bring it down again immediately. Harrington nodded. Keep them ready, but power down to minimum. Show them we're willing to de-escalate if they are. Another officer approached with a data tablet. Admiral, you should see this. We're receiving transmissions from at least 7 non-Council species, expressing support for humanity's resistance. Harrington reviewed the messages with interest. It seemed their broadcast had reached sympathetic ears throughout the galaxy. Some were trading species who resented the Council's regulations. Others were younger civilizations who feared they might one day face similar containment. Interesting, Harrington mused. We may have more allies than we realized. On Mars Colony N watched as one galactic month after the battle at Earth, Maya Chen stood in the great chamber of the Galactic Council. The circular room was exactly as she remembered from her first secret observation, except this time she stood on the speaking platform at its center. Hundreds of alien representatives watched from the rising tiers of seats, their expressions ranging from curious to hostile. Maya wore a formal Earth diplomatic uniform, crisp and blue with the United Earth Government emblem on the shoulder. Beside her stood Secretary Chen Wei and Admiral Harrington, representing Earth's civilian and military leadership. Dr. Wong had also joined the delegation, ready to address technical questions about human science. High Counselor Vex called the session to order, his forearms raised for silence. This special session will address the recent conflict between the Galactic Council and the species known as humans, Vex announced. For the first time in Council history, we have agreed to reconsider a Class 3 threat designation. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such reconsiderations were unprecedented. The human delegation will present their case first, Vex continued. Then Ambassador Zalthep will speak for those who support maintaining the threat designation. After both presentations, the Council will vote. Maya stepped forward. She had practiced this moment for weeks, knowing that the future of human-galactic relations hung in the balance. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, she began, I stand before you representing not just Earth but all human colonies in our solar system. We come seeking neither conflict nor special treatment, but simply the same rights and considerations given to all intelligent species. She gestured to the holographic display above the platform, which showed images of Earth and its people. Humans are young among the stars, that is true. Our first steps into space came only 3 centuries ago. Our first colony on another world was established less than a century past. By the standards of many Council species, we are children. Maya paused, looking around the chamber. But we ask you, is it just to imprison children without teaching them the rules? Is it fair to condemn an entire species based on a partial understanding of their nature? The display changed to show scenes of human cooperation. The international space agencies working together, the unified response to global challenges, the cultural exchanges between Earth's nations. Yes, human history includes conflict. We have fought wars among ourselves. We have damaged our environment. We have made mistakes, but we have also learned from them. Each generation has built a more peaceful, more unified world than the one before. Ambassador Zalthep shifted in his seat, clearly impatient with Maya's presentation. The Council claims humanity was contained for the safety of other species, Maya continued, but we have discovered evidence suggesting other motives were at play. This caused a stir in the chamber. Maya nodded to Dr. Wong, who activated the next part of their presentation. The holographic display showed data streams and economic projections. During our preparation for this hearing, we were approached by several trading species who shared information with us, Maya explained. This data shows unusual investment patterns by certain council members in technologies that compete directly with recent human innovations. The display highlighted specific connections between the Arvanian empires, corporate interests, and areas where human technology had recently made breakthroughs. In particular, the Arvanian Empire has invested heavily in quantum communication technology that was recently rendered obsolete by human advances. Their economic forecast showed significant losses that could be prevented if human technology was contained. Zalthep rose from his seat. This is outrageous. You accuse the Council of economic manipulation? High Counselor Vex raised his arms for silence. The human delegation has the floor, Ambassador. You will have your turn to respond. Maya continued calmly. We accuse no one. We merely present data for the Council's consideration. Is it coincidence that the species most adamant about our containment is also the one with the most to lose economically from human innovation? She moved to the next part of her presentation. The Council's charter, which we have studied carefully, states that threat designations must be based on clear evidence of aggressive intent or actions against other species. Humanity has never attacked, threatened, or even contacted any galactic civilization prior to our containment. Maya looked directly at Zalthep. The only aggression in this situation came from the Council fleet that imprisoned an entire species, without warning, without dialogue, and without due process under your own laws. Throughout the chamber, representatives leaned toward each other, whispering urgently. Maya's arguments were having an effect. Finally, she said, I ask you all to consider what transpired when humans were backed into a corner. Did we respond with blind aggression? No, we defended ourselves with precision and restraint. We targeted your containment systems, not your crews. We sought to disable, not destroy. And when we succeeded, we immediately offered peaceful terms. The holographic display showed the battle, highlighting how human ships had avoided causing casualties even when they had the opportunity to inflict serious damage. Is this the behavior of a species that deserves to be classified as a galactic threat? Or is it the behavior of a people who wish only for the freedom to determine their own destiny among the stars, while respecting the rights of others to do the same? Maya bowed slightly to the Council. We ask only for fair treatment under your own laws and traditions. Thank you. As Maya returned to her delegation, Secretary Chen squeezed her shoulder in silent approval. High Counselor Vex acknowledged her presentation. The Council thanks the human delegation for their statement. Now Ambassador Zalthep will present the case for maintaining the threat designation. Zalthep moved to the speaking platform, his tall, thin form radiating tension. Esteemed colleagues, he began, let us not be swayed by clever words and selective evidence. The facts remain. Humanity has advanced at an alarming rate. Their technology has progressed more in 3 centuries than most species achieve in 1,000 years. The holographic display changed to show human weapons, wars, and environmental damage. Their history is dominated by conflict. They have nearly destroyed their own planet multiple times, and now they seek to bring that same chaotic nature to the stars. Zalthep pointed directly at the human delegation. The very fact that they were able to defeat our containment field so quickly proves my point. What species could analyze and counter such advanced technology in mere days? If not one with dangerous levels of adaptive intelligence. Admiral Harrington leaned over to Maya and whispered, He's actually complimenting us while trying to condemn us. Maya nodded slightly, keeping her expression neutral. As for the economic data they presented, Zalthep continued, it is a shameful distraction. The Arvanian Empire has always put galactic security above profit. Our concerns are based solely on the threat assessment metrics that have served the Council for millennia. He walked around the platform, addressing different sections of the chamber in turn. I ask you all, do we wait until humans have spread throughout the galaxy before acknowledging the danger? Or do we act with wisdom and caution now while we still can? Zalthep returned to the center of the platform. The containment decision was made to protect all our species. That necessity has not changed, regardless of how cleverly humans argue their case. With that, he returned to his seat, his black eyes fixed on Maya with undisguised hostility. High Counselor Vex addressed the chamber. Both delegations have spoken. Before we proceed to voting, are there questions from council members? Ambassador Klee of the Tellurian Alliance rose immediately. The small golden-skinned alien had been one of the few to vote against humanity's containment originally. I have a question for the human delegation, Klee said. If the council removes the threat designation, what assurances can you provide regarding your future expansion and development? Maya stepped forward again. We are prepared to accept reasonable limitations on the pace and direction of our expansion. We will share our technological advances through appropriate channels, allowing proper safety reviews, and we are willing to accept council observers at our major research centers to ensure transparency. This answer seemed to satisfy Klee, who nodded and sat down. Another council member, a blue-skinned aquatic species called the Meraki, addressed a question to Zalthep. Ambassador, the human delegation has presented evidence suggesting economic motives behind the containment decision. The Council's ethics statutes strictly forbid using security designations for economic advantage. How do you respond to these specific allegations? Zalthep's gray face darkened slightly. The data is being misinterpreted. Any economic considerations were entirely secondary to security concerns. The Meraki representative pressed further. Then you do acknowledge that economic considerations were part of the decision process. Zalthep hesitated, caught in a difficult position. I acknowledge that comprehensive analysis of any species includes evaluation of their economic impact on galactic systems. This caused another stir in the chamber. Several representatives who had previously seemed supportive of Zalthep now looked troubled. After several more questions from various council members,